Alrighty. Last and probably least is a few situations, scenarios, problems you might face with a coach or scheduling or any of the above. So, um, let's first talk about if say you're greeting and a client calls to reschedule, um, or for some reason the coach doesn't show, God forbid, um, and you want to reschedule the client without confusing anybody. So we've got test coach and test client here. Um, let's opt for the first, where a client calls and says they need to reschedule, and then we can open up this appointment. And if we know, as we do from the last video, that Miguel is available, we can just very easily switch this appointment over to be with Miguel. And update it, and it will send Miguel a notification. It will send test client a notification, but it will not send test coach the notification that he is no longer meeting with that client. So if you ever are going to reschedule, rather than just switching coaches or switching times and coaches, it's probably best to go ahead and cancel it outright. I'll get it back over to test coach. We'd want to cancel that. Whenever you cancel, you'll be asked to provide a reason, and we'll say that test client's a jerk. No, test client is sick. And go ahead and cancel that appointment. That will send the cancellation notification to both the coach and the client. And then we can just schedule an appointment anew, say with another coach at a different time, or whatever it may be, just to make sure that everybody's getting the maximum amount of communication. So again, if you do need to reschedule with a different coach, make sure to cancel the appointment outright. So the next scenario would be if I were trying to set up an appointment, and we'll just say that I didn't look at the offices beforehand, and that I scheduled this directly from a coach's profile. Say we'll be with test again, and we'll be with test again. But say I was scheduling this directly from test coach's drop-down menu over here. If I went to update it and say it defaults to CFC Suite 3, and then I try to make this appointment, and when I go to finalize it, as you can see, Jerry already has Suite 3 at 1 o'clock. When I go to finalize it, it will give me this error message, and usually the error messages are specific enough to where you can figure out what mistake you've made. Does not fit within the time slot selected for this office, so please select another time. In reality, you can actually just select another office, and it would fit in that time. I could finalize it, and that would be a-okay. The alternative would be if I selected, well, actually, I don't think that could ever happen. Another problem that will come up while coaches are here is if they have any issues with their account. So you'll notice if you go to this Financial Coaches tab up here at the top, that you will get to this page that has a list of all of our coaches, their contact information, and so on. So for the sake of this example, we'll use test coach. You can Control F and find it that way. If you click on his name, that will take you into the profile itself. So you can see here we've got first name, last name, screen name. All of them will have a phone number listed. That is just in case a coach is running late or something, and we want to make sure that they're on their way, or if a client were to cancel shortly before an appointment and we want to get in touch with the coach so that they don't show up here for no reason, you can always use these numbers here. Similarly, if a coach were running late and you can't get a hold of them and it turns out that they're a no-show, first of all, let me know so I can follow up with them and make sure that they're here the next time. But also under this tax ID number, you'll want to give them an X. It's just a quiet way for us to mark that they were here, for that they have no-showed once. And similar to clients, coaches will get 2 no-shows before we make them inactive and unavailable to coaches. So that's a scenario. You'll never touch this active inactive, but you might touch this allow customers to see yes or no. If someone says, I'm comfortable with just having my one client right now, and I wouldn't like to take any more, you can make it so that they won't be seen publicly by any other clients and won't be randomly scheduled for another client. But again, as with all of this, if they have a concern and you don't feel comfortable stepping on the software, just go ahead and let me know, and I can get in touch with them and fix the situation. So if you ever need to, and this will actually probably happen a few times, coaches trying to set up an appointment on their own with the client, but they can't log into their account because they have forgotten their password, you can go ahead and change that password. So you have to enter your password, and then you'll have to enter their new password. I always do some variation of the word foundcom, as in our email address, so FONDCOM, and we'll say 2, the number 2, foundcom 2. And if I make this a temporary password, then the next time they sign in, they will be able to change their password to something that they can remember. So I can go ahead and change that password. You can see up here, if I drag the screen, that it pops up that little notification that says it's been changed. So okay, so we've changed their password, but maybe they come back and they say, actually, I will no longer be available on Tuesday mornings from 10 until 2 because I've just gotten a new job. So if you could please mark that off and open me up on Wednesday evening or Tuesday evenings, say, or Wednesday evenings, we'll say, because they can still volunteer when they get off work, and maybe they're available at 5 o'clock until 7 o'clock when we close, as do many coaches with evening availability. And then we can mark this day as being off, so that they're no longer available from 10 until 2 on Tuesdays. And since we've unchecked the off, double negative is a positive, we've got them available from 5 to 7 now on Wednesdays. Always click this update button, and that should get things going. The only other thing that I imagine you using would be the days off. If they say, hey, tell Nick, or hey, could you mark me off for the end of August, I'm going to be out of town, then you can go through and on any of the days that they're gone, you can mark them off by clicking these dates, and then down towards the bottom, you can't see it because the screen's not big enough, you can click update, which will show you again the calendar, and you can see that I've marked them off through the end of August on their available days, and they'll start back up in September. So those are all of the scenarios I can foresee coming up. Again, if you have any problems, always just direct them to me. I'll be happy to take care of the problems. It is technically my job, but I want you to all be competent when greeting, to be able to do these things when they come up, rather than introduce some more communications and a little delay into the process. So that ends my amazing Appointment Plus tutorials for administrators. It was absurdly long and less than perfect, but hopefully it's enough for you to work with until you actually get started on your own. So thanks for your time. I'll probably see you around the office. Goodbye.